Hey guys, what's up? Brian Maples back here with another video. So, gonna try to make a quick video here. When I say quick, probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes hopefully. But I'm gonna walk you through everything I'm looking at for my new USA made product. I am doing other products. This isn't my first choice, but I think it's an inexpensive choice. It's gonna be USA made. Um, and let's get right to it. Let's go for it. So I know most of you out there don't have a ton of money necessarily to you don't have 10, 15, 20 grand to start a product. And you want to do something in the USA, maybe because the tariffs, and I know they've been suspended recently, but maybe, you want to be able to, is it possible to do something very inexpensively? Now, if you go back to 2019, 2018, sure. Now with hyperinflation and everything going on with the dollar, is it possible to do a product for under 4 grand or maybe even under three? We'll see what I can get it at. But so this is what I've decided on. I'm going to do this live. I've already done a lot of the research on this. Um, this is a carpet deodorizer. So this is a huge brand. Let's jump right in here. And let me tell you what I like about it. Maybe it's some of the things I don't like. And we'll get right to it. So this is a huge brand. They dominate this space. So if we look at their sales, it's massive, right? 24,000 units in a month. We're not going to be able to compete with these guys. These guys dominate. They do a satchel. They also do other things like cleaners, if you'll notice right here, cleaner. But something like this, right? So they have 2,700 reviews. Nothing crazy, 4.2. So I've done the research and looked at something like this. And I did notice just today there's other ones coming out that are similar to this because they have very few reviews and they're just starting to jump out. So we take Ant Fannies, and they're a pretty big company. They do other things as well. Pretty inexpensive. I'd be looking at the price point around $14, $15. So I noticed, the branding, the listing is really poor. It's not that impressive. It's not great. I'm not really all that impressed by their listing. They have a video. Their ratings are mediocre, 4.2. I'd like to have at least a 4.3, 4.4 or higher. So it shows at least a 4.5 stars. As you notice, they have quite a bit of different stuff, and it's pretty affordable. So what I'm trying to do is something similar but much better looking, different smells. I don't think this is a great listing, to be honest with you, but they're established, right? They've been here for quite a while. You can see their rank is as low as 4,300, which is really good. And they have, it looks like virtual bundling, I think. They have a 2, a 3, a 4, and they have different pricing. So I think we can do the same thing, actually price it a little higher, and you can see the revenue is outrageously high. 7,000 units a month, absolutely wild. But again, we can't expect to do these kind of sales right off the bat. So what I would like to do is I'll do a bundle, but right here. So this is just a real basic. You can't even hardly read what that is. 27 listings. This is a brand new listing. So it seems like people have kind of saw what I see. This one's only 155. Again, really poor branding here. You can barely read the front. Now that's not horrible. Not the worst listing, but not the branding is just poor in my opinion. But let's see what they're doing sales wise. Look at that. They're absolutely crushing. Now again, this is an established store. They have plenty of smells, right? So they've been around for a little bit. 155. It's actually, they must have other things. They have that much in sales. That's absolutely wild. But they definitely, I think they're an established brand, right? So they might have presence off of Amazon. So you got to think like that. It's not just that they just put this on and started making a ton of sales. So there's definitely a niche market here for, like this is Amazon right here. Pet Life is Amazon. You can see that right here. So free advertising, super cheap price. Never gonna be able to compete with that. I wanted a more organic. Looks too, the bottle's okay, but it's too commercial looking. It's boring. It's old. I'm not a big fan of this branding here. Everybody knows these big brands. They're always going to have their following. But here we go. So 2 reviews. This just hopped on here. And you see everybody's using the same bottle. The branding's okay. I've seen this brand as well. $14. So I'm going to price around the same thing, 15 maybe. Going to do bundles where you can get it cheaper. But they also have other products here, right? So, this is all part of the same kind of niche, which is kind of like a homemade, natural kind of plant-based. So I've done the research. I found a supplier in the USA. She's willing to work with me. I've ordered samples. They smell fantastic. We tested out 4 different samples, me and my daughters, and we came up with a top 4 out of, I think, 12 or 13 cents. So let me show you those, and let me show you what they might look like. Now, some of the problems with this, I've looked at the reviews. These bottles that they're using, these homemade ones here, first of all, the listings are poor. And again, this isn't the best product, but I think it's very doable, and I think we can break into it and do well. A lot of these are breaking open in transit because they're really made for food. They're a food spice bottle. So they're breaking open in transit. So I got right here, I got examples of what I'm talking about. These are spice bottles, and here's an actual spice bottle. So you can see it's the same thing. This is a Beach Bum, is the name of it. Lid screws off. It looks decent. Smells nice, very nice. And as you can see, it's got a spoon on top. It opens up into a shaker, right? So, and also you can open this up into just an empty spot. So, really good for its purposes, but there's some issues with this bottle. This bottle, pretty durable, but the lid can break and crack, especially Amazon's not known for being super safe with your stuff. So this can crack open, spill everywhere. That's really bad. Plus, it doesn't really have a seal. So if that opens up, this did come with a seal on the top. So at least it would have that, but you still can't really trust it. So that's been one of the biggest complaints. Another complaint was it gets clumpy. So I talked to her about it, and she said the more essential oil you were to add, it gets clumpier, and we don't want that. So this has a good amount. It's not really too clumpy. I don't know if you can see that there, but it's pretty fine. Smells fantastic. Some of the other complaints were it's not strong enough. There's only so much you can do with the carpet powder, but I think this is going to be, I smell it still, I think it's going to be strong enough, and it clumps up, that clumping can clump up your vacuum. So people were complaining about that. So I'm trying to solve these problems. So what I've done is I've gone through kind of, figured out an avatar. So the first thing I did, I see this isn't great branding. There's a lot of new ones popping up that I just saw today. Or existing brands popping up with new smells, right? I can see they're doing really well. A lot of these, but again, these are brand new. This is a brand new one here, okay? So one of the things you want to try to get a specific avatar, right? Like, who are we catering to? So the reason this isn't the best is because there are already ones that are kind of catering to this market. But these are also merchant fulfilled. They're not FBA, okay? Meaning they're not sent in directly from Amazon. So that's an advantage to us, because if we're going to send directly in FBA, I mean, look how well this is doing. But again, this is an established brand somewhat. They're doing 6,000. That's insane. So I want to go with the natural. It's a plant-based type of formula, essential oils for smell, and let's see how this one's doing right here. 316. That's still not horrible. You can make decent money. That's at $20, right? But this is a 35 ounce. So we could do a 32 ounce, price it higher. We could do a 16 ounce, price it around 14, 15. Your margins are going to be better. The price I'd be paying for this would be around $4 to $5 each. Now, I'm trying to source bottles that are going to be better for use. Now, the 2 that I've found on Alibaba are like this type or this type right here. Now, that's really, I do not like that packaging whatsoever. It's really bad. So here's a concept that I've come up with as far as like how these might look. Now, this is using this type of bottle, so I'm going to have to adjust the packaging for this type. I'm getting samples in from China. So the bottles themselves would be from China because it's cheaper. And then I would send those bottles to my USA manufacturer, if you will, or the wholesaler who I'm working with. She'll package them up in the bottles I send, assuming they work. So I need to get the samples and have them sent to her. And then she can send those either directly into Amazon and label them, or send them to me and I'll label them. So that's how we can do a USA made, and we can do it cheaper by using bottles made in China, because you can get them over here, and I have done the research on that, but it's kind of the same problem. Are they durable enough? Are they going to open up? It's the same type of bottles with the spice shaker. I can probably get them for under $1, but the problem is I'm going to run into the same issue, right? I'm trying to solve these problems. So the best way you can go about this, by if you find a market like this where you're like, man, I can break into this market, the listings are poor, the branding's poor, I see there's space for somebody like me to come in with some new fresh smells and a natural carpet versus like these established brands, you know, and poor listings like this one, in my opinion, who are absolutely crushing it. So clearly there's a market for it. Ideally, you want to come in here with nobody like this and be the first one, but you know, we're going to do what we can do. So, you know, come in with like that and check out their listings and see what exactly, and this is merchant fulfilled too, so it's only going to help us. The listings, the ratings are really poor, and you're going to wonder why. But they're still selling 10 a day. I mean, that's not horrible. So let's see what's going on here. I've already done this on a lot of listings. Let's see why they have a 3.7. Okay, let's look at the 1 stars. So here we go. Don't waste your money. Super excited, disappointed. I know you guys can't see the whole thing. But what these are saying is that it's not really what it was promised. You know, you're going to have people that aren't going to like it no matter what. Arrived damage, this says. Lingering smell. So somebody says it doesn't last long enough. Somebody says it lasts too long. So again, you're not going to make everybody happy. But what I've noticed on a lot of these is that they have broken open packages. So if I can find like this one. So here we go. See how that broke open? See that spice bottle, how it broke open? We don't want that. That's an issue. People are going to get mad about that. They're going to get really upset about that. Now, you might be able to get that removed, but not easily. Like, Amazon's not removing as easily as they used to. No label. Looks like a random bottle of powder to me. Odd and off-putting. So, the label must have fallen off. That could be a problem as well. So, I've done some sourcing, and I was able to get, this is ChatGPT, this is the sizing I was working on. So, I'm trying to convert, 32 ounces into grams. And so, I've talked to a supplier, and I was able to get this supplier here with these type of bottles. They referenced one, a 32 ounce and a 16 ounce. So like this type of bottle, right? So that's going to be more durable. It's like metal inside. It's also moisture. For moisture, it's better for moisture. And it has this powdered lid that you can send, and it's much more durable. But again, that's a horribly kind of branded idea there. But they have options. So they're going to send me some options. I also got a quote from another one that's kind of like a Comet can where they flip open and you can pour the powder that way. It's kind of like a freshness seal. So I'm getting samples of both of those. And what we're going to do is we're going to take those samples and we're going to send them. Once I get to take a look at them, I'm going to send them to my supplier. And she's going to take a look at them and decide if they're good. And if we can move forward, we'll go ahead and I'll order 1,000 of them or 600 of them. I can get them for 44 cents a piece, I think, for 600. Not bad at all. Now that's before tax before tariffs. If by then I don't know if it'll be in effect or not, but also that's going to include shipping. So I think I can probably get them reasonably for 60 to 80 cents each. I can probably get those bottled up for $3 to $4 each. So we can probably be around $4 a unit, which is really good. So it gives us a lot of margin. So we could probably do a bigger one, a 32 ounce, maybe for, I'm guessing $7, $8. And then we could probably sell that at 25. And that gives us a really nice margin. Gives us, money to work with on PPC. So we'll see how that shakes out. I don't know all the ins and outs yet because I don't know what sides we're going to go with. I got to find out how much the bottle is going to be, and then we got to find out exactly how much she's going to be able to get that down to, where she can make money and she can be happy, and I can also be happy. So again, I want to make sure that she's happy, she's making money, because otherwise, you can't price gouge everybody. They've got to be happy too and working for you. So I want her to make a decent amount as well. She runs a shop that has all kinds of stuff like this, and I'm just glad she's willing to work with me, and hopefully we can make something that's mutually beneficial for us both. So that's the plan. So again, let's take a look at the keywords here. So if I go to helium, and let's back out here for a minute, and you can see she's selling a ton of these, and this is at let's see how many she's selling. Not a ton. This is only, but still, it's 10 a day, right? 30 days, 310, 10 a day, at a 3.7 rating. That's not great at all. So you know, and that's at $28 for a two pack. That's more than doable for us, right? Now she does have other products, so she probably has somewhat of a following, but that's a two pack of 7.5 ounces. That's not even. That's not 15 ounce. One pack is 14. Okay, that's kind of weird. Maybe this is two different smells. 15 ounce. I don't know if it's just mislabeled because it says 15 ounce two pack and this says 7.5 ounces. It probably is just somehow mislabeled. I think these are all 15 ounces, right? So 50 for 4. All right, let's show you my markup of this, and let me find it here. Okay, sorry, I had to pause the video for a second. If you look on the screen, you're going to see these are the markup of if I was going to use a spice bottle, right? So I really like the labeling. It stands out. It's big for the name of the smell, and I think most of you would agree that this is going to stand out a lot more than, say, this. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I have a decent eye. It's going to stand out more than something like this, right? Like, let's compare this, this in the same bottle. Let's compare it to this. Now, maybe that does stand out more. I don't think so. I think this looks much nicer. Also, I have smells on here that I don't think a lot of people have. This one, Citrus Grove, and I renamed some of them from what she had them, but it smells fantastic. That's my favorite one by far. Autumn Orchard is, well, that's not true. Autumn Orchard is amazing as well. Lavender is fantastic. Cactus flowers fantastic. So these were the names I have. This is the brand I'll be launching under, so I already have it trademarked and everything. So again, handcrafted in the USA. So something like this, but I'm not going to do this bottle because the bottle is just not safe to ship in. It works very well if you have it, but if it's shipping, it's not going to be the best. So I'm going to launch under something like the bottle I showed you, something along the lines of where it has like the metal part in there, like something like this, right? So all I did is I looked, she gave me a quote of 44 cents. All I did was look around for these, and I had a conversation with her, and you can see, she says, we have aluminum foil for moisture resistance. And I asked her about 600, smart order, 16 or 25 ounce, and you can see we had this conversation. This didn't take me very long once I found it. She messaged her own customer there. So yeah, you're welcome to look at this conversation and kind of see. I'm going to have to black out my address on there. But, yeah, this is what we're looking at. And hopefully this will, with the smells we have, will really draw people. So how am I going to get these labels made? I'm going to go to Fiverr. Once I get what bottle we decide on, I'm going to get the D-line, or just the size of the bottle, the circumference of the bottle. We're going to have, they'll be able to tell me that, the manufacturer in China. They're going to print it for me too. This price includes printing, the 44 cents, which is fantastic. So I'll get it printed, and I'll have them all sent here to my manufacturer. She'll be able to bottle them up, and then we'll be able to send them directly into Amazon. And that will be labeled and everything, which is great. So I really think we're going to have really nice margins on this. It's going to be a low-risk product, under $3 to $4 grand. USA made, because the product itself is USA made. The bottles, of course, are going to be made in China, which is fine. And I'm excited about this. If you guys have any questions, if you need help on launching a product, I'd love to meet you. Comment in the comments, and if you have a product or you want some consultation on help. I am not selling anything right now. I'd be happy to just talk to you and help you. If you want to get into more depth, I would, probably charge a small fee for that. But if you just want to talk, I do have a Facebook group I'm setting up that you can jump into, that asks questions. And if you, comment down below or email me at FBA, that's Fox Bravo Alpha, FBA Commute, COMMUTE, @gmail.com. Email me with any questions, and if you have questions about Amazon, I'd love to talk to you. Or if you just do some kind of selling, whether it's Walmart or whatever, I'd love to talk to you, because I'm also going to get this on Walmart. That's another thing. The Walmart is really changing the game. They're really coming hard. They're making it easy to sign up. I'm going to put these on Walmart as well and Amazon, and I think they're going to do really well. Now, from there, I want to try to create a base and try to get a social media following. So I'm going to set up an Instagram page, and then I'm going to try to promote these to just homes with families and pets, especially because pets are a big thing. They want to neutralize the odor for pets. So I might put something with pets on here, certainly in the listing. That's one of the big things. People want stuff for to neutralize bad odors like pet odors. So that's going to help with that. But stay up to date. If you guys have any questions, email me or comment. And I'm going to keep you up to date on everything that's going on. Right now, we're waiting on the bottles. We're waiting on the samples to come in. Once I can confirm samples, and they usually airship those. Usually $40 to $50 is what you're going to pay for a sample. Not for the sample itself. They're typically free. It's usually for the shipping. That's like 1 to 3 day shipping or 5 day shipping. And they ship it over very quick. So usually you're going to pay $40, $50. Don't be afraid of that if you're on Alibaba. That's completely normal. They'll ship that over to me. I'll take a look at the bottles. I will in turn take those and ship those. I'll probably jump on Pirate Ship, ship those down to my supplier, and then she'll be able to take a look at them, see if they're suitable, and then we can decide on a large quantity. I'll have my shipper, who I have, which if you need a good shipper, I can refer you to him, ship over from there via freight right to her at her address, and then she can bottle those up, and we can ship them right off to Amazon, and voila, we're ready to rock. I will get the listing up and ready to go, and we're in business. So I'm hoping to get this done within 2 months. Now, I wish we could get it done sooner. The problem is you got to wait for the samples to come, right? You got to check the samples. You got to send them to her. She's got to check the samples, and then we've got to have them made. And I've had to have the labels made in between that, and then we have to have them shipped over, which could take, I don't know, 30 days, 40 days. I talked to my shipper. So by the time, if 2 months is actually pretty fast, if we can get them done by then. So I want to get these in ideally by the end of summer, August at the very latest. I want to have these up and running. So at this point, it's not, if it was just about speed, I could get them done with these bottles. And I could get them in there probably, if I can get a printer in the U.S., I could probably get these in there within a month or two. Hopefully. I don't know how long it's going to take her for her to fulfill these too. So that's a factor. But I want to make sure I do this right and do this more for the long term. So I'm really trying to get inexpensive bottling and get something that's more durable because of the bad reviews. Yeah, so there it is. There's my USA made under $3,000-$4,000 project. I will keep you updated, and once I receive the bottles, I'll do a video on the bottles and show you guys the bottles I get and see how they work out. Decide if we're going to do a 16 ounce or a 20 some ounce or maybe a 32 ounce. Price that a little higher, and then once we decide on that, we'll work with somebody on Fiverr to get these labels made, and then we will have the printer in China print the labels on the bottles or the tin cans or whatever you want to call them, and ship them to us. And then we're ready to rock. I'll probably have them do a video of the can itself to make sure that it's good, because if I have to have them ship that tin can over here, it's going to cost me another $40, $50, but also it's going to take longer, but I probably will have to do that. So what do I mean by that is, I get the bottle sample. Once I get the labels printed, I'll probably have to have them send one of each with the label printed to make sure the labels are good. As far as like getting the GS1 codes, it's very easy. Get a GS1, and I'll show you how we do that. We're going to get, scannable barcodes on there, $30 a piece. So that'll be $120. I already have the Amazon account up and ready, and we'll get these up and running hopefully within 2.5 months, and I will keep you updated. I do have multiple other projects going on. I have a couple ones I don't want to talk about on my other account, just because I'm trying to, it's very hard to do, very hard. I'm trying to do a consumable made in the USA product, very hard to find, and that's the barrier to entry. It's going to be very hard. To do USA made products, people give up, and unless they're already in the industry, people give up. It's very easy to go over to China and get whatever made you want, but to get USA made and to source it, it's hard, but I'm getting there, and I think I've found answers to both products in that niche. I passed another niche I was working on back over to some people in my group, and I have one more product that I love that I'm working on. I don't know if I'm going to launch it or pass it on to somebody. But yeah, that being said, if you guys want to jump in my Facebook group or you have questions, hop on in. I have coached people before. I'm doing this differently because I'm trying to create a real brand here. So social media presence is going to be an absolute. We're going to have to get this out to the populace there. And also, what's really cool is I found a couple of sites where you can have an influencer for like $150 make a video for you about this. So they'll test it, make a video like a real live testimonial. So that's a good way to start. I think it's like Billio or something like that. It's a good way to start, and then we can move on to actually getting real influencers to check this out and see how they like it. And then we can get real followers and real numbers going on. But that's a good way to start. Just get a video put out there, and we'll go from there. So you guys have a blessed day. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It really helps me out. And I will see you guys in the next video, which I'm going to try to make tomorrow. Thanks.